Have you ever held on so tightly to something that was already falling apart? A person, a plan, a dream, and the more you tried to fix it, the more broken you became? I know that feeling, the desperation, the fear, the sleepless nights spent trying to hold everything together, until your soul begins to whisper, it's time to let go. And that's when the real question shows up. Do you trust God enough to surrender what you cannot control? Because sometimes peace doesn't come from answers. It comes from trust. It comes when you finally say, God, I don't understand this, but I trust you anyway. This is for you. If you're tired of fighting battles that aren't yours, if you're ready to breathe again and let go. But before we can truly let go, we have to face something hard to admit, that we were never really in control. You tried, didn't you? You planned everything out. You checked every detail. You told yourself, if I just work harder, think smarter, love deeper, I can make this work. But no matter how hard you tried, things still fell apart. People still left. Doors still closed. And you blamed yourself. You thought it was your fault. That maybe you didn't pray enough, didn't love enough, didn't do enough. But what if it wasn't about you failing? What if it was God protecting you from something you couldn't see? See, we cling to control because we're scared. Scared of uncertainty. Scared of being hurt again. Scared that if we don't hold it together, everything will fall apart. But here's the truth. It's not your job to hold the world together. That's God's job, and He's never failed. So maybe letting go isn't giving up. Maybe it's giving in to the one who always had a better plan. You were never meant to carry it all. The pain, the pressure, the outcome, that weight you feel on your chest, it was never yours to bear alone. God never asked you to be perfect. He only asked you to trust. But trust is hard when your heart is bruised, when you've prayed and waited. And the answer is silence. When you've believed and still lost what you thought you couldn't live without. That's when faith is no longer a feeling. It becomes a decision to say, God, I don't see the full picture, but I choose to trust that you do. I release this, not because I'm weak, but because I believe you are strong. Letting go isn't weakness. It's the most powerful act of faith, because it means you're no longer trusting in yourself. You're trusting in something greater. So how do we do that? How do we truly let go when our hearts still hold on? Letting go doesn't mean you stop feeling. It doesn't mean you forget or pretend you don't care. It means you surrender the outcome. You release the pressure to fix everything, and you place it all, your fears, your desires, your broken pieces, into the hands of a God who sees what you cannot. It starts small, maybe with a simple prayer. God, I don't have the strength today, but I give you what I can. You might have to pray that again tomorrow, and the next day, until the grip loosens, and peace slowly replaces the panic. Letting go is not a one-time event. It's a daily choice, sometimes an hourly one, but every time you choose to trust, He meets you there, not with judgment, but with gentleness. And over time, you'll feel the weight lifting, not because the storm is gone, but because you're no longer trying to stand in it alone. So the question is not, can I let go? The real question is, will I trust Him enough to let go today? You might not notice it right away. Letting go doesn't always come with fireworks, but there are signs, small, gentle ones. Like the moment you stop replaying that conversation in your head, the moment you stop stalking their page, the moment you breathe without crying. It's when the silence no longer scares you, when your prayers aren't desperate anymore. They're trusting. It's when you wake up and, for the first time in weeks, you feel light, not because everything is fixed, but because your heart isn't clenched anymore. You're learning to let life unfold, to trust that God is doing something behind the scenes, even when you can't see it, and you realize you haven't lost control. You've just handed it to someone more capable. That is not weakness. That is freedom. But freedom comes with a cost. You have to say goodbye to what you thought you needed. in order to receive what God knows you need. Letting go hurts, not because we're weak, but because we love deeply. We get attached to what's familiar, to the routine, to the comfort, to the dreams we built in our minds. Even when something isn't good for us anymore, we still hold on. Because it feels safe, because it feels like us. But sometimes, God loves you too much to let you stay where your soul is shrinking. He will allow certain things to break, not to punish you, but to protect you. That closed door, that unanswered prayer, that silence, it might just be God's greatest mercy in disguise. And yes, it's painful. You'll grieve the version of life you thought you'd have. But what's waiting on the other side of surrender is far greater than anything you could have planned. Because when God takes something away, He's not leaving you empty. He's making space for something eternal. There's a quiet truth that only time can reveal. God never removes without the intention to restore. You may not see it now. You may feel like you're standing in ruins, pieces of a life you once held close. But what if those ruins are just the foundation of something new? Sometimes He has to empty your hands so He can fill them with something holy. Sometimes He closes every door so you'll stop chasing your plan and start trusting His. God is not trying to hurt you. He's trying to heal you. He's trying to free you from the things that were never meant to define you. You thought you needed that person, that job, that dream, but what you really needed was Him. And when you finally reach that quiet place inside, where you no longer need answers, just presence, that's where you'll find Him waiting, not with condemnation, but with open arms. So maybe this season of letting go isn't about losing anything. Maybe it's about finding everything in Him. At first, peace feels unfamiliar. You're so used to fighting, worrying, fixing. But suddenly, the silence doesn't feel heavy anymore. You breathe, and it's not tight in your chest. You look around, and the chaos is still there, but you're no longer drowning in it. That's the peace of surrender. A peace not built on circumstances, but on presence. You realize you don't need every question answered. You don't need the story to end perfectly. You just need to know that you're not walking alone. And you're not. Because in every quiet morning, every whispered prayer, every moment you thought no one saw it, God was there. He didn't fix everything right away. Because sometimes His greatest gift is the stillness that grows inside you. A stillness that says, no matter what comes, I know who holds my heart. So let go. Not because you have to, but because you're safe to. Let go of the burden to understand everything. Let go of the pressure to carry it all. Let go of the fear that you'll fall apart if you stop holding on. Because the truth is, you were never holding it together. God was. Even in the silence, even in the heartbreak, even in the unanswered prayers, He never let go of you. And maybe that's what faith really is. Not having it all figured out, but trusting the one who's always been there. Always steady, always close. So today, take a breath. Not because everything is perfect, but because you're no longer alone in the imperfection. You're held, you're seen, you're loved. And no matter how far you've wandered, He's only ever one whisper away. So whisper it now if you're ready. God, I let go, and I trust You. That's where healing begins. This isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your healing.